What's up, fellas? So, I'm outside right now, so that's why it looks like this. I actually think this looks super duper cool. Um, but I basically had something that I wanted to talk about, and I decided to just pull the camera out now while I'm enjoying this amazing view. So, I want to talk a little bit about joint pain and people that get hurt when they're in the gym or working out, right? So, it's very common. And being a trainer, I've seen this happen with my clients and just other like gym goers throughout the entirety of my personal training and coaching career. And basically, what I find is that a lot of people get injured in a very similar way. There's a lot of common problems with posture. There's a lot of confusion about how to properly warm up, how to properly cool down, how to properly mobilize your body, how to properly effectively move your body when you're like exercising, you're actually like in the gym, right? So basically, I wanted to just kind of put my take on it and what's helped me. So just some injuries that I've had in the past that I've had to deal with. I pulled my lower back. I was squatting and my underwear ripped and I laughed. So I lost my brace and just popped my lower back. Literally for 3 weeks, I could not move at all. Well, I could move. I could walk around, but bending over sucked. It would just hurt. Second thing is I have hurt my shoulder in my pec area on the left side. I pulled my pec during a jiu-jitsu training session. I'm not sure if I got like arm barred or something, but I just know that shit was hot afterwards, and then the next like 2 weeks it was really hurting me. I've pulled my IT band, or my hip abductor rather, on the side that travels all the way down, and I was doing that during a sumo deadlift. I felt it. It was hurting, but I decided to just push through it because I thought that I couldn't get hurt, and then I ended up getting hurt. And for like 3 or 4 weeks, I had to skip leg day. It sucked, but like when I go through adversity, I try to look up exactly what to do to fix the problem. So after a few weeks, it wasn't getting any better. So I looked up a bunch of stretches. I learned about hip mobility. I learned about like external rotation of the hip and the activation of glutes. That's really important when you're working your leg exercises. How to properly warm up, how to prevent injury, because if you prevent the injury, you won't get injured, and that will be better off. So I also hurt my hip flexor while I was running, like right in the psoas muscle and like the lower stomach area by the abs, like in the groin. That has been a huge frustration of mine for the past few months, and it's definitely gotten a lot better. And I found that other people who got hurt, it was all very similar, right? Basically, we all have these posture problems, right? And the problem with the problem postures is that some muscles get really tight, some muscles get overdeveloped, some muscles get underdeveloped. And what happens is that happens over time, and it builds over time, and you constantly are having these muscles that are overdeveloped and underdeveloped. Then eventually your body just starts to kind of go whack. Now, when you go to work out, so there's two things that happen when you get injured. One, there's two. So the first one is that you're actually working out and you get hurt while you're working out, right? That's the first thing. The second thing is that because everything just kind of builds up, you ever like work out, right? You feel good, and then once you maybe go to sleep, and the next day you wake up, and all of a sudden you wake up and you're like, my shoulder like really hurts, or like, my knee's been bothering me, and then like it just keeps hurting for weeks and weeks and weeks, and it just does not go away, and it's really, really frustrating. So I've had that happen to me, and it happened to a lot of people that I know, and I think that one of the most important things you got to do is you got to learn how to warm up, you got to learn how to cool down, you have to learn how to move your body, especially in the case of core bracing, learning how to pull your shoulder blades back, learning how to activate your glutes, learning how to keep your feet straight in a squat or a leg press, learning how to do deadlifts with the proper form, and not improperly doing your exercises for weeks and weeks and months and years and years. Eventually, you're going to get hurt. And then when you get hurt and you're bedridden, you can't make any gains. You can't train at jiu-jitsu. You can't go out for a walk, depending on how serious the injury is. I mean, you got to take care of your body, because guess what? Like, you don't take care of it, you're going to get hurt one day, and you're going to be like, fuck, I really wish I prevented this. Now, what can we do about people that are hurt already? Well, if you're already hurt, there's a few things that you can do. One, change the entirety of your training focus to fixing the injury. Most people, when they get injured, they don't change anything. They continue to train exactly like they were when they weren't injured. And now they continue to make it worse, make it worse. They continue to further the problem, and they could even start to cause other injuries in other areas of the body. So you're pretty much screwing yourself over if you do that. When you get hurt, everything changes. You need to change the entirety of your training. You need to add in specialized mobility drills so that you can loosen yourself up in whatever particular area is hurt. You need to be very conscious of certain movements so that you can fix the problem that you had. So everyone has a certain issue. Like for some people, they may get knee pain because they turn their knees in too much in a squat. But they also might have hurt their knee in like a wrestling match, or they hurt it, or like they sprained their ankle when they were running. Whatever happened, you have to change the entirety of your training to fix the problem, and you need to look at why you got hurt. That's important. You need to reflect on it and know why you got hurt. Did you sprain your ankle because your calves are tight? Did you sprain your ankle because you don't know how to run? Are you running incorrectly? Did you hurt your back squatting because you were leaning too far forward? Did you hurt your back deadlifting because you were rounding your back and you don't know how to actually activate your lats? And now you're like out of the game. Maybe you were being cocky in a jiu-jitsu match and you got like an arm bar and you didn't tap when your elbow started hurting because you just were being a little egotistical. That's just another injury. You got to be careful out there. Whatever it is that you're doing, whatever sport that you're doing, whatever training that you're doing, you have to stay safe. It's a risky business, and it's sad because you see a lot of these like well-talented athletes in all sports, and they just get hurt, and then their career's over, just like that. You could have someone that's so talented, that's on their way up, and they could be one of like the biggest football players out there, biggest baseball players. Like they're just coming out, all of a sudden, bam, rotator cuff torn during a bench press or during a baseball swing or during a tackle. There's preventative things that you can do to actually prevent the injury, right? And I just want to hit this home again. When you get hurt, the entirety of your training changes. So you need to first off look at two different things. First off, I'm going to go over this. I feel like this is one of those things where if you're watching this, comment down below a thought or a question just so I can kind of see what people pick up from this video, and then I can make more videos based off of the questions and the comments that I get, because this is a very, very deep topic. There's no way in a 10-minute video I'm going to be able to chat with you guys about what kind of mobility drills should you do, what is the what is the warm-up, what is the cool-down, like what is the way to prevent the injury. The truth is that there isn't, because everybody has different problems. Here's a few common things though. Here's a few things that you could commonly assure that you may have an issue in, and a couple of different strategies that you can use in order to fix the common problems. Number one, rounded shoulders. Your shoulders round forward, so that's going to definitely cause some impingement in your shoulder, and that's going to increase the chance of any shoulder injury. Because of that, your spinal erectors get really tight, the muscles right along your spine. Lumbar extension due to your tight hips from sitting down, tight ankles from standing up, especially if you're long-legged. Knees buckling inwards, or internal rotation of the knee and hip. Are we activating the glutes when we're doing our lifts? Are we conscious of the way that our body is when we're walking? We're constantly always like rounding forward, trying to deal or mask with the pain, but the truth is that you have got to literally make the change to every single thing that you do. I understand, like it might sound crazy to some of you guys, but the point of it is that you need to be aware of how your body is moving. You need to be in your body, less in your head, less thinking all the time. You need to actually be aware of what muscles are activating. Stop, when you're going to lift, stop putting headphones in with your loud metal music. Take the headphones off, lift weights without any music so you can concentrate on your form. When you're doing jiu-jitsu or something, make, a lot of our jiu-jitsu guys, we're always trying to like stay tucked. Wrestlers, same thing, trying to stay tucked, and rounded into like these weird positions, inversions. We're getting into these like nasty heel hooks. You could really get, a Kimura could like hurt your shoulder if you're tight, man. Like, that's not cool. You got to take care of yourself. So those are like common problems, like tight shoulders, tight back, like flexion of the back, lumbar extension due to tight hips, tight ankles. So you have maybe like a lot of people when they squat, they point their toes out too wide, and they do too much of a wide stance because they don't have the ankle mobility, and that causes a bunch of other problems. You know, there, like I said, I think what the best thing that I could do here is that if you're watching this, to comment down below what is your issue. What is it that's been bothering you? What's hurting you? Are you doing a certain exercise that's hurting you? Are you, you know, is there like a certain stretch that you were curious of? Do you know that you have something tight and you want to get it loosened up? Because there's no way that I can go through every single type of stretch with you guys in this one video. But I can definitely start to post more of these common issues in the future. But I'd rather make videos based off of what you guys want. So that's basically what the plan is here. So I kind of just wanted to bring that up a little bit about body awareness. What are some common problems, and what is a good way to tackle those issues? The first step is to comment down below. But yeah, those are some things. If you want to look up dynamic and static stretching, those are two really good things. Static stretching is when you're trying to lengthen a muscle. You usually do that after a workout, or maybe in the morning or at night before you go to bed. And then there's dynamic stretching, which should be done before a bout of exercise, whether it's a training session for a particular sport, you're running, you're doing grappling, you're playing football, you're tackling into each other. You want to do dynamic stretching. You're about to go and lift weights. You want to do dynamic stretching to warm yourself up and activate the right muscle groups. So you could definitely look at some of those topics there. There's a lot of good information out there on YouTube and Facebook already as well. So definitely feel free to look up your problem and find it. But I could try to help you do more of like a direct approach about like what your particular problem is with this. Especially since I'm still like really, like I literally could have nobody comment on this at all. But the point is, I'm still growing right now, right? So I appreciate anybody that is actually going to like interact with me here, because that's definitely going to help me out. So anyway, guys, I don't want to drag this video on too long. Let me know what the problem is, and Dr. Jason will try to fix it. P.S. I'm not really a doctor. Please do not take me seriously like that. If you have a really serious injury, make sure that you actually go excuse me. Make sure that you actually go and see a professional if it's really that serious. If you have just like some minor pain, or you're just curious about like what my thoughts are, definitely feel free to comment. But like I said, if it's really serious, just go ahead and like see a doctor. If it's really bad, see a doctor, please. You're honestly better off doing something like that than listening to my ass or Googling or YouTubing it. Look up, get some professional help for it. But if it's just minor, you're just curious about it, maybe it's not that bad, maybe you're just curious about, okay, now I want to prevent injury, let me know down below and I'll make more content around that. So thank you guys, peace out, and stay loose.